So I'm back with Deron Day. And as you can see, we kind of kicked Jeremy off the set pretty much. But no, full disclosure, man. I was going through editing. I edited the first 3 episodes. Somehow I deleted the video. And I'm in IT, so I know how to, I know how to recover files that's deleted. I could not find the file. But, there's a ram in the bush. Yeah. Because some of the information we went over, we need to go back over because there's been a pivot. Yeah. So there's a purpose behind it. Yeah. So we don't panic, we pivot. We brace. You know what I'm saying? There you go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a couple things. Got a few questions, and then we're gonna hit the lightning round, which is something brand new. It's gonna be like a word association. I got a couple terms and give you a minute or two to just whatever comes to mind. I think you're gonna like that. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So really the first thing, what's next with entrepreneurship? Because we had talked about eat to serve. Right. So so what's the new thing for Eat to Serve? Well, to be honest, man, Eat to Serve is things are really going well with it. But I really felt, God kind of saying like, this is kind of more of a nonprofit entity. And I believe that it's well suited to get in and, talk to the church that I think really needs to hear it. Speaking to educators, speaking to people that are in that service, related industry. And so it's not going away. It's alive and well. I just think it's a different platform. A different approach. Yes, sir. So, one of the things for me, man, is that, my passion for plant-based nutrition, man, has grown so much over the years. And it's to the point, man, I had this huge vision, right? I tell people a lot of times, man, like my optimism is sometimes scary. Sometimes it's too much for me. And, I had this big vision of, helping all these people all over the world. And I was, do this and that. And, I noticed over the past couple of months, man, it was like some great things have been happening. But what I noticed is that it's all been local, right? It's been right here in my backyard. And it's been things that I hadn't even expected. I'm like, well, where the heck did that come from? And I don't think it was by chance. I think it was really God just showing me like, you can help a lot of people, but there's people right here in your own backyard, right here in South Carolina, like where you grew up, that need to hear the message, right? And they need what you have and what you can offer. And I was like, I couldn't argue, man, because it was just, things just started happening, and they're still happening, to the point where I'm like, oh, wow, So with that being said, man, I started thinking and, really praying about it, man. And I told my wife, I said, man, I shared the same thing with her. I was like, it seems like everything is happening right here. And so what I told her, I said, I'm going to change this approach, and let's see how, we can turn this around and really get out in the community. And so I thought about it. I said, it could just be here in the Midlands, or it can be, it can be in South Carolina. And so I thought about it. Like we were talking, I said, man, when you say plant-based, yes, or vegan, like these are words that scare a lot of people away, especially in the South. Walls, they're like, oh, plant. Oh, okay, no. You go too far. You're going too far. So I've over the years, man, I told you when I first started, I was real radical, man, and I had to pump my brakes and back off a little bit because I really saw it being kind of repulsive, in some senses to some people that weren't ready for, to really hear the message at that magnitude, yes, like way too much, too fast. So I think sometimes it even offended some people, in a sense. So I went back and thought about that, and I said, man, how can I reach more people and do it in a way, man, where people don't feel threatened? Like, yes, I believe that anyone that puts more plants in their body, right, more of a whole food approach rather than eating a lot of processed stuff, I think it's naturally going to help. Yes. Help. So it's not up for debate.
Like
No,
the science, the science and research shows it.
Absolutely, right? The science and research shows it.
But depending on your approach, like you said, some people's walls gonna go up.
Yeah.
Some people gonna hit you with the Heisman. You know, hold on.
Yep.
But yeah, man, and I like the approach, the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we want to do these grand things and we want to make this huge impact, but we want to skip over the people in our backyard to do
it.
Like when those are the people you already have credibility with.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, it's similar to how we got started with the Fast Way Out. I mean, we started off with email list of people we knew.
Yeah.
And those were the cohorts for the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, you got to start with the existing relationships.
And that makes so much sense, man. I think, you know, it's kind of almost like we said, we put the cart before the horse. You know what I mean?
Absolutely right.
You know, definitely having a desire to make huge impact, but you know, I think like we were talking before, you know, hey, sometimes, you know, we ain't ready for that.
That's right. That's right.
We're not ready for that. We're saying, hey, put me on this stage, you know, put me in the game, coach, but we're not ready for that level yet, right? You know, we still playing JV, you know. We at a JV level, but we trying to get an NBA.
We trying to get the call up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We trying to get called up, man. So, but man, what that, you know, ultimately, man, what it turned into, after kind of going through, you know, names and thinking, man, the term, like I said, the term plant-based vegan, it definitely puts that wall up. But I said, okay, let me think. Crazy thing. It was like the day before I was listening to a podcast from Augusta Scofier, and they were interviewing the culinary school I went to, and they were interviewing Rip Esselstyn. And you know, so if you don't know Rip Esselstyn, he's huge in the plant-based space. His dad, what's his dad? I forgot his Caldwell Esselstyn. He's a very popular, famous, legendary, you know, cardiologist that really talked about, you know, he's one of the pioneers of how whole food plant-based eating can help to reverse heart disease, right? Which is the #1 killer, if y'all didn't know that. But
and he's still in amazing shape.
Still in amazing shape. So Rip was talking, man, and I kept hearing this plant forward. I'm like, plant forward, wait a minute. So I started, you know, looking at, Googling, and said, let me see what this says, you know, plant forward. So basically, plant forward is not necessarily telling someone that they got to stop eating, you know, meat and animal products, but that they want to kind of rearrange their plate, right? Have more plants on it, right? You know, still, hey, if you're so inclined, you still want to continue to eat, you know, animal protein, animal products, right? Make them more the condiment, you know, but not telling people that they got to totally give up everything, right? Because a lot of people hear that and it just really turns them out. They're like, nah, bro, you crazy. Yeah. You know?
McGregor's the same way.
Okay.
He doesn't tell you have to get rid of it. Yeah. But it's like you want to use the meats for the seasoning. You know what I mean?
True.
So to speak.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You want to be plant heavy.
Right. You want to be plant heavy. Yes. So I said, man, you know, maybe I think this might be where I want to turn my attention. Right. Like that doesn't change with me. You know, yeah, I'm still 100% plant based, and I'll always be that way. But everybody ain't ready for that. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So I want to create a space, especially here in South Carolina, where, you know, is the you know, the plant-based vegan community growing? It is, but you know, it's still slow, right? So you want to meet people where they are. So Plant Forward SC, right? Plant Forward SC, it is. The focus has changed, you know, now that it's right here at home, right? Yes. It's right here in my backyard that, you know, I want to get out here and work in the community, man. So it's not about, you know, trying to move the world, right? I want to start, you know, I want to start where I am. I love, like, you know, with Tony Evans, he talked in the Kingdom, man. He's like, you know, it starts in your home, then it starts in the community, then it goes to your church, and then, you know, and it has this ripple effect. That's right. Right. But we gotta. It's an order. It's an order, right? So I'm 100% focused now on the community, man. I wanna build around here, because I think the community needs it, man.
Without a doubt.
So but yeah, it's playing forward SC, man. I'm pushing forward with it, man. I'm excited about it. Been just in a very short time period, man. Some doors have opened, that I'll be, been able to start doing some speaking,
Yes.
and going to be at the Columbia Food and Wine Festival, and got a few health fairs and stuff like that, man. But it's just amazing, man, how when you had that one switch, you know what I'm saying, and you're like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's the piece.
That's the piece. And doors just start to open, man. But I'm just excited, man. I'm excited about the change that this work can bring to the community. To South Carolina, man. We're one of the most unhealthy states, man. I mean, heavy on diabetes, heavy on heart disease. Tons of people on dialysis and high blood pressure,
having limbs amputated,
man. And this is a real thing, man. I mean,
and it's completely preventable.
It is. It's completely preventable, man. And I just want to be I want to be a part of that change. You know what I'm saying? I think we all have family members that have diabetics, and I've had family members that have double amputees.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I know it doesn't have to be that way, man. And when you know that, one of the things we always hear, hey, when you know better, you got to do better.
That's right. Yeah.
But are people really getting the support that they need? In order to make real change.
Yes.
So that's what I'm excited about, man. The other thing, man. So speaking of Rip Esselstyn. I applied for a grant through the for the Esselstyn Foundation, and got accepted for it, man. And
which is huge.
It's huge, man. It's huge, and it's really, this grant is to focus on doing in-person gatherings in the community, right? And I think that's beautiful, because now everything's online, and people, it's kind of a cop-out, man.
It's detached.
Very detached.
It's detached versus live in person, creating relationships.
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
relationships, like look at F3, the free workout.
Yeah.
The guys you work out with, that's what keeps you coming back.
That's what keeps you coming back.
Like, that's what got me running.
Yeah.
I play basketball. I'm not a runner. But the same guys I went to boot camp with were the same guys doing the run group. And like, man, just come on out. Yeah. And so, you're running and you're chatting and you're talking. And that pulls you back. Those relationships pull you back.
It does.
So
it does. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you, man. But I just, my thing is, man, I want to get people out of their houses, get them in an environment, man, where it actually supports change. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about, leaving somebody on their own. Hey, here's some recipes. Have at it.
That's it. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing when it comes to making real positive change, man, people need support. Right? They got to know that they're not in it alone, and they got to know that you don't have to be stuck, feeling the way you feel, or you don't have to be stuck, dealing with sickness and disease. Like, there's something we can do about it. But I think the biggest thing is, man, is just people don't get enough support, man. So yeah. I'm excited.
Dude,
I'm pumped up, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's dope.
So,
so that's the entrepreneur hat, right?
Yeah.
But you got another hat that you're wearing now.
Yeah, man.
Two-time grandpappy.
Ain't that something?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
So is it a grandson and a granddaughter now?
Two granddaughters.
Two granddaughters.
Yeah.
Oh man, you about to spend all your money.
Two beautiful girls.
What perspectives have changed with with grandbabies coming along?
Oh, wow, man. First of all, it's still crazy to even think about it, man, because I'm 46, man. Like, I don't feel old. I mean, sometimes I feel old, like
your body lets you know.
My body let me know, I can't do the things I used to do,
yes.
Playing ball and stuff like that. But like, I'm still a kid at heart, bro.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, when you think about, wait a minute, grandkids? I mean, kids is one thing, but yeah, grandkids? Like, that's absolutely crazy, man. But when I see these two little girls, man, Alea's 1. She'll be 2 in October, and
so you guys got the same birth month?
No, she's October.
Oh, she's October. I'm sorry, you
December.
December. My bad. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And Ashaya, she came, I think, March 11th. So just a couple of weeks, man. You know,
Wow.
So she's
brand new,
man.
Fresh off the press.
Fresh off the press, man. Beautiful little girls, man. But the perspective change, man, is just like time is our most important asset, bro.
Yeah.
And
you only spend it once, man.
You only spend it once. So I'm just sitting here like I couldn't even 10 years ago, I didn't see this, right? We're talking about short, not long ago, 10 years ago, I couldn't see this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so powerful, man, because it's like I watch my boys grow, got one about to be 24, got one about to be 13, and this was like, and now you got 2 grandkids. With that, it's just like, whoa. But it just really shows me, man, for one time, no wait on nobody. And, every opportunity that God gives us, all the, that valuable resource that's worth more than money or, any other material thing out there, man, it's like we can't take it for granted.
Yeah, the time is now.
It's now.
It's
now.
Like now.
Like now.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
And so for me, man, that just kind of pushes me in every area of my life, man. For one, like my relationship with God, I can't keep saying like, man, when I wake up tomorrow, I'll pray tomorrow. I'll read a little bit more tomorrow, or I'm gonna get dedicated tomorrow. That's not how it works, man, because there's no telling, man. I might not wake up in the morning.
Hey, at some point, we got that expiration date, man.
We all have it.
So, like, you didn't grow up in the church, but did you know, like, a lot of church songs from being around grandma?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, it's like you remember now I'm really telling my age. You remember the little commercials, the little skip, they used to have like the little CDs or tapes, the cassette tapes, and it'd be like Rough Side of the Mountain and
coming up
and all that.
Yeah, sweep around your own
front door. Like that's what I remember, man.
Malico Records.
Yeah, Malico.
I'm there with you, man.
Yeah, Malico Records, man. But that's like I would hear my grandma, around the house singing those songs, man, or she'll, had a radio turned up, man, playing those songs. And and then when I went to church, I would hear, reinforce and hear some of these songs, man, and some of these old hymns and stuff like that. I wasn't a regular church goer.
But there's an old song by the Winans, Tomorrow. And you talk about tomorrow's not a promise. Like, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today.
Yeah.
And man, like I recently had a line brother of mine, so I'm Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Okay. Had a line brother of mine pass away, and he was 40. I think Jason was 42, I believe.
Wow.
And completely unexpected, man. And it's like, dude, the time is now.
It is,
like, man. Start that business now.
Start it now.
Forgive now.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Develop that faith now. Become a disciple now, because man, you don't know what the next hour brings. We're not even talking about the next 24 hours.
Mm-mm.
So
don't, man. That's powerful, brother. I mean, you said it. You said it all right there. It's like, if you got something on your mind, if you got this burning and this yearning inside of you that says that, hey, you need to go start that business, you need to write that book, you need to go run that marathon, whatever. I don't know, depending on whatever that dream is, for anybody, it's like that's now, and now, one of the things I'm not a person that lives with regrets, but I do look back, and I think, history is a really good teacher, right? And so I go back and there's been times, man, where there's been points, man, where I've allowed it to depress me, because I'll go back and I'm like, oh wow, I start counting the years that I've carried, a dream or something that I really wanted to do.
Yes.
And I look back and I'm like, man, 10, 20 years, right? Now I'm getting older, so I can say like in 25 years, and I never did it, right? And it's just like, bro, that's a rough thing, man. It's hard. It's a hard thing to deal with. It's a hard thing to face because I can't get those 25 years back, right? But not to say we need to live in the past, but what we do is we look forward and say, well, you know what, man, I ain't wasting not another minute, moving forward, man. So whatever it is, man, if whatever you got, whatever dream, whatever, calling it is, man, we got to go for it, bro.
Yeah.
We got to.
And the Bible does broach the subject because it says, like, your latter will be better than your former. He's a redeemer of time. So is there really a such thing as wasted time when God can make up what you missed out and make it even better? Like,
bro, I don't think there's really such thing as wasted time. I as long as we have to learn from the things that we've done, and I think you'll agree with me on this one. I think one of the biggest factors, man, that slows us down and stagnates us is pure fear.
Yes, and it's not even, and typically it's fear of something that ain't even gonna happen. Ain't even gonna happen, but we allow it to paralyze us because it could happen.
Yeah,
and it's so many people that don't chase the dream, don't take the action, because they paralyzed by fear.
That's true. Man.
False evidence appearing real.
Powerful. I mean, and the crazy thing about it, man, is just like, what's the thing now, man? FOPO, right? Not FOMO, not fear of missing out, but FOPO, fear of people's opinions. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, man. I think that's been a bigger fear for me in the past than ever. And it really doesn't matter how many people say, oh man, you're great at this, man, you can do this and man and this and this and this. But if you're so focused and you're constantly worrying about people's opinions and what they think, man, you'll never do anything.
That's right.
You'll never do anything. Right. And so I tell my boys, man, I'm like, listen, man, do it scared. Quit worrying about what people are going to say, what they're going to think, because these people that are that have so much to say, they ain't doing nothing, right?
They're not in the arena.
They ain't even in the arena.
They critics.
That's it.
And that's what a critic does. They're critical. So that's absolutely right, man. So when I drop the boys off to school in the mornings, man, they have this. It's like a little prayer. Lord, watch over me and my family all day, every way. Amen. Today's a great day to be great. Listen, ask good questions, be curious. Treat others as you want to be treated. And a part of it is also like, be a leader, think for yourselves. Right. Because that's what we want our kids to be leaders. But then we ask, so what does a leader mean? You don't have an answer. You got to be able to think for yourself because everybody else, especially when you're talking about elementary school and middle school, almost all those kids are followers. They want to be cool. Yeah. They do things like FOP or FOPO. You know what I'm saying? They worried about what other people think. Yep. But if you can think for yourself and do what you know is the right thing, that makes you a leader.
It really does, man. That's you hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, that is really what it's about. If you can think for yourself, but it's been turned around, by I'll say, the culture, especially when it comes to younger kids, man. It's like if you're stepping out of bounds, and you're not doing what everybody else is doing, you can be the oddball or even the outcast. But you're right, man. It's like I tell my boys the same thing. I'm like, hey, that's true leadership. Yes. Right? When you can step outside of what everybody else is doing, and that's the one thing we hear all the time. If everybody's doing 9 times out of 10 it's wrong.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. If 90% I'm going this way, I might need to go that way.
Which I think there's a lot of truth in that. It is. In many situations.
Narrow is the gate.
Very true. Come on.